Welcome to Taste Reviews Drink Edition. I'm your host, Derek Silver, and we back for another episode, another tasting. So, of course, we got a new one for you today. I already previewed it on the last episode. If you haven't checked that out, make sure you go check it out. Shout out to all the people who watched that video, who liked, shared, comments, and shout out to all the new subscribers. Welcome. Now, for today, we got a new one. Rye & Sons. This is a rye whiskey. It's 97.5 proof, 48.75% alcohol by volume. It's a straight rye whiskey. Now, let's check out the bottle. It's a pretty simple bottle. We've seen this type of style of bottle before. Nice style of bottle. Nothing crazy about it. Pretty simple, sleek looking bottle. Now, to the label. I'm going to read the description that's on the label. It says, with Rye & Sons, the celebrated sommelier and winemaker Andre Houston Mack brings his expertise to rye whiskey, focusing on the unique characteristics of each year's barrels to get the very best from the grain. Mack honors the tradition of America's first whiskey while refusing to be constrained by it. And in his hands, an old classic becomes something entirely new. It has the website for the whiskey on the label, as well as where where it was distilled from. It was distilled in Danville in Frankfort, Kentucky, bottled by Kentucky Artisan Distillery in Crestwood, Kentucky. And it says it's been aged more than 2 years. Pretty simple label. Um, got the design on there to let you know that it's rye whiskey. So let's check out the website. The website will be in the description as well, ryansons.com. Pretty simple website, straightforward, nice colors, nice look to it. Gives the same description that's on the bottle on the website. Now, for the tasting notes, it says it's a 2022 straight rye. On the palate, it's anise, roasted nectarine, salted caramel, and cinnamon. On the nose, orange zest, cane syrup, clove, and eucalyptus. That's pretty it for the website. They give you a bio of Andre Houston Mack. Like I told you on the last episode and what's on the label, he's a sommelier. A sommelier is, how can I best explain this? They're experts in wine. All things wine, they're experts. So that's why I was very excited to try this one. I wanted to do this tasting last week, but the bottle didn't arrive in time. It's black owned, so we're gonna get right to it. All the relevant information that you need for Andre Mack Houston Mack, sorry, is on the website, as well as everything you need to know about uh, the whiskey. They even have recipes on there. That's one thing that I like about a lot of the websites for the tastings that I've done. They have recipes on there for old fashions and other type of drinks. So I probably will be trying this particular old fashioned recipe on their website tonight if I have all of the ingredients. Now, your favorite part of the show, of course, the tasting. I'm excited about this one because I feel like, since he's a sommelier, he's all things taste on the palate and all that good stuff. So I'm excited to taste this one. Smells pretty good. Definitely smells like a rye whiskey. I've had several rye whiskeys before, so they pretty much all have that smell, that rye smell. So yeah, but it smells good. Let me go back to the tasting notes again. On the nose, orange zest, cane syrup, clove, eucalyptus. I definitely can smell the orange zest and the cane syrup. Now let me start off. I got the pour today, and I bought some new pours. So let me go to the nose and glass. Get a little bit in there. Stir that around a little bit. Let me look at it. Looks like a thin whiskey. Not too oily. Uh, Yeah, it's a little oily, not that much. No, I'm moving it in between the light and outside the light. Yeah, it's pretty oily, not that bad. Got a beautiful color to it, a nice golden color. And let me smell it. Still smelling that orange zest, that cane syrup. I do smell the clove. I smell the clove now. I'm not getting the eucalyptus yet, and you know eucalyptus. That's a very prevalent, strong smell. I'm not getting that yet. So let me taste. I'm tasting the salted caramel. I'm tasting the cinnamon. I'm tasting. I do taste some citrus. And what I'm very surprised at with this rye whiskey is I don't taste rye. A lot of the rye whiskeys that I've tasted, they taste like rye. Like it's the taste of rye is sort of a sour taste to it. Has like a sort of a sour taste, and it has you sometimes, depending on how good the whiskey is, it has you going like that. But this one honestly doesn't taste like a rye whiskey. This right here tastes like any other bourbon I've had before. So I'm surprised by that. But that's a good thing because I don't want to be sitting here with a sour taste in my mouth from that rye. This is a really good rye whiskey. It doesn't taste like a rye whiskey. It tastes like a bourbon, which might make sense because it was distilled in Kentucky. And I'm just shocked. I'm shocked that it doesn't taste like rye whiskey. It's sweet. It has a sweet taste to it. It's smooth. The finish on it is very short. It's not overwhelming. It's not strong at all. Like I feel like you can get in trouble drinking this. How smooth, how sweet it is. It has an inviting taste to it. It doesn't sour your mouth out. My mouth is kind of like getting watery since I've had that first taste of it. It just has a like a tad bit of spice, and that's coming from that of cinnamon. But overall, it's smooth, it's sweet, it's very mellow. The finish is short. Yeah, I can see this being very good with old fashioned and having like orange bitters with it, just to complement the citrus flavor on it. This is very good. Now moving along to the glass with the splash of water in it. You really don't taste that rye with this one. If you taste it, it's really faint and it's not strong at all. It's not overwhelming like a lot of the rye whiskeys that I've had before. And then the fact that it's not aged long, that might play a factor in it as well. That is not that rye flavor is not overwhelming. Now with the splash of water, I'm getting I'm getting the cinnamon. I'm getting no. I think I'm starting to smell the eucalyptus. I think I'm starting to smell it. Let me put it away from my nose for a second. Yeah, I'm starting to smell the eucalyptus. I definitely smell the clove. Um, with the splash of water, I don't smell the orange zest and the cane syrup as much. I smell more of the eucalyptus and the clove now with the splash of water. Now let me taste. Okay, with the splash of water, now I'm tasting a little bit more of the rye flavor. I'm getting more of the rye um, with the splash of water. Uh, it's much more smoother. I don't taste the cinnamon. It's not that much. There's no spice at all. Pretty much with the splash of water. The finish is still short. I'm getting the salted caramel. Let me see. I'm getting the roasted nectarine. I'm I'm not sure about the anise because I haven't had that anise flavor on my palate enough to know what it really tastes like or if I can taste it in this. But I'm definitely getting that roasted nectarine. I'm getting the salted caramel, and I'm tasting much more of the rye. The whiskey actually looks real good in this glass because of the gold details on this glass. It's one of my favorite glasses, if not my favorite whiskey glass. All right, let me put the ice cube in this glass and finish off the splash of water glass while I let this one get a little cold. Burp number one. I feel like I always pour more in the glass on the rocks because burp number two and three. After I finish recording, this is the glass on the rocks is usually the glass that I'm drinking while I'm taking all the stuff down, all the equipment down, the camera, the lights and stuff. So I feel like I always pour more on this one. This is like my end of the show glass. All right, let me finish this one off. Yeah, with the splash of water, I moved it around my mouth a little bit more so it can hit every part of my palate. And I'm tasting with a splash of water. I'm tasting way more of the roasted nectarine. I'm not tasting as much of the salted caramel or the cinnamon as I did with the nose and glass neat. Yeah, with the splash of water, much more of the roasted nectarine. So let me get to the glass on the rocks. Stir that around a little bit. Get that sound going. On the rocks, I'm still smelling that orange zest. Um, I'm smelling the clove. I definitely don't have no problem smelling that clove because I always use clove in my oil diffusers. So I definitely smell that clove. And I smell that orange zest. Funny thing about it is I had like several nectarines today. So it was no problem tasting that roasted nectarine. All right, let me taste. Now, on the rocks, I'm definitely getting that spice, that cinnamon. I'm still tasting that roasted nectarine. I feel like I need to drink some water. I'm starting to get a little bit more of that rye flavor now with it being on the rocks to the point where my mouth's starting to dry out a little bit from that rye. I'm getting that roasted nectarine and that cinnamon. I'm probably getting that anise as well, but I just don't know it. But it's definitely um, more spice on the rocks. I'm not getting the same sweetness that I was getting neat. Um, Even with the splash of water, I wasn't getting the same sweetness as neat. So I feel like with that splash of water and then having that ice in there, the coldness and the ice melting a little bit, that is bringing out more of the spice to the whiskey. So I would say that I would prefer to drink this rye whiskey neat as opposed to splash of water or on the rocks. On on the rocks, you get more of that spice. Splash of water, you get more of the rye, and neat, you getting everything. So I feel like this rye whiskey should be drinking neat. It's best neat. Like you're getting all the flavors. You're getting the sweetness mixed with the spice, with that citrus. So it's best to drink this rye whiskey neat. Like, and even if you make a cocktail with it, it's best to make make it with an old fashioned and add and make sure you have that orange bitters. The orange bitters will help with the old fashioned as well as having that simple syrup. Because normally when you make a old fashioned, you're gonna have it on the rocks. So you're gonna need that simple syrup and that orange bitters to complement what's there, but kind of amplify it. Because on the rocks, for my palate at least, you're getting more of the spice, more of the 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 rye flavor. So you're going to need that orange bitters and that simple syrup to amplify the salted caramel and the that roasted nectarine. So Rye and Sons straight rye whiskey. Um, I like it. I like it. Um, I feel as though that it's a good rye whiskey. It's probably one of the best rye whiskeys I've had neat. Um, but when you start adding the splash of water or on the rocks to it, that's when it can go either way. And it all depends on your palate. So I'm not saying that on the rocks and with a splash of water is a bad thing. It just all depends on your palate and what you like. I'm more of an experienced whiskey drinker, so I've tasted a lot of these different flavors, so I can handle on the rocks with this rye whiskey, and I can handle with a splash of water. But neat, that would be my preference because you're getting the whole essence of what I feel uh, Andre Mack wants you to taste. And I've watched a lot of his YouTube videos with him tasting whiskeys and even his wine videos. And I feel like he would want you to taste this rye whiskey neat because that's where you get all of the flavors. That's where you actually get the vision of what's been laid out on the website with the tasting notes. So out of 5 tastes, I would give this rye whiskey. See, this is a difficult one because of the splash of water and on the rocks is totally different from the neat. And I like being able to find a whiskey that you can have 3 ways. And not to say that you can't, but I feel as though that Andre Mack wanted you to taste this rye whiskey neat. So out of 5 tastes, I would give this one a 3.8, 3.9. I can't, it's definitely not a 3.5 or 3.5, and it's definitely not a 4, but I feel as though it's in between that. Like, I want to give it a 4, but I'm not sure. So I would keep it around a between a 3.8 and a 4. But neat, this is one of the best rye whiskeys I've ever had, if not the best rye whiskey I've ever had. Neat. But when you have on the rocks and a splash of water, I think that's when, things get a little complicated. But that's the reason why I like trying and tasting whiskeys 3 ways, because you you just never know what you're going to get. And everybody has different preferences, everybody has different palates. So it just all depends on your palate. So out of five tastes, I'm gonna give this one a 4. I'm settled on a 4. Out of 5 tastes, I'm gonna give Rye & Sons straight rye whiskey a 4. So make sure you check it out. Shout out to Andre Mack. Um, I will see you next week for another episode of Taste Reviews Drink Edition. I appreciate you, all the new subscribers, all the old subscribers, all the in-between subscribers. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you share, make sure you keep supporting. The Cash App down there if you want to donate to the show so I can, continue buying more whiskeys to preview. Yeah, I'm Derek Silver. I'm your host. Make sure you drink responsibly. Drink responsibly. Now I gotta finish off my end of the show glass without you watching. Drink responsibly.